Cuts, we introduce Dave Mahnic. He's an artist who has taken the features of the Sistine Chapel ceiling and put them into a painting dedicated to hockey. Fittingly enough, his work is called A Canadian Game.
Martin has it on that wing. Here's a shot. Henderson made a wild stab for it and fell. Here's another shot. Right by the score. Henderson has scored for Canada. Henderson right in front of the net.
Clear to McNaughto. Bobby Orr behind the net to Sanderson. Orr! Bobby Orr! Scores in the 5 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes!
It's called The Canadian Game, and it's the ultimate hockey collectible, not to mention a labor of love for John Mahnic, artist and teacher. His inspiration? The majestic ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in Rome. A decade ago, Mahnic stood awestruck by its sublime beauty and came to a decision.
I turned to my wife, Val, and I said, I could paint this using hockey players, and it just came out. We weren't there for a few minutes, and it just came out, and I thought, this would be an amazing painting using hockey players. And right at that moment, I had that epiphany and decided that's what I was going to do. I was going to make that ceiling.
The painting's Renaissance style is no coincidence. It's a tribute to the visionary Italian artist Michelangelo, as well as the great Canadian pastime.
The intention was that it started off as a game, that in pond hockey on Saskatchewan, rivers and lakes, you play for fun. It's for the enjoyment and love of the game. And over the course of 10 years, it just started to take on a life of its own. It was never intended to become this great piece that it's become in terms of the effort and the work involved.
But 4,000 painstaking hours later, Mahnic had finished his masterpiece. Frozen in time and captured in minute detail were some of the greatest moments in hockey history, as well as 167 players and broadcasters, old and new, surrounded by trivia, both obvious and hidden.
The little pucks that are underneath each of the players, I put a number that I thought was significant to that player. Why would number 18 be significant to Bobby Clark? And what that relates to is the 18 penalty minutes he had during the 1972 Canada-Russia series, which a couple of those minutes for breaking Harlamov's ankle, which really turned the flow of the series.
That abundant artistic license extends to Mahnic's choices to depict certain players and leave others out. But like all great art, those decisions are sure to spark debate.
I would replace Peter Stastny, Kirk Muller, Tiger Williams, and every time you'd take a player out, it would just break your heart a little bit because you think, they're fabulous players, they're great players, but should Tiger Williams be there ahead of Paul Kariya? Should Kirk Muller be there ahead of Teemu Selanne? And that's a debate I think that anybody can still make because there will be, pros and cons for both sides.
Mahnic has a soft spot for the game's foot soldiers, those whose contributions are often undervalued. That explains why he's paid special tribute to the New Jersey Devils Hard Rock captain.
My last thing I did was taking the helmet off of Scott Stevens, and because he's old-time hockey. And I'm a Flyer fan, and for me, Scott Stevens, he should have been a Flyer. I still think he should have been a Flyer. Could still be a Flyer, maybe.
Mahnic has even woven his family and himself into the canvas, which could immortalize the boy who once dreamed of becoming an NHL goaltender. Of course, the Canadian game would have to find its way into the Hockey Hall of Fame first.
I'd like to go there and say, that's me. I'm in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I think that's more exciting than having the painting there, that I'm in the Hockey Hall of Fame. So that'd be fabulous. I'd love that.
Ultimately, Mahnic plans to use the Canadian game as a template for a much larger project. And like a true Renaissance painter, he's looking for patrons to fund that project, a 50 by 150-foot mural he hopes to paint in the new terminal at Pearson International Airport in Toronto.
And that's your first impression coming into Canada. It's a classic country. Hockey is a great sport. It's emotional. It means a lot to our people, so much so that we can feature it for people that just enter into this country and grab a hold of it and love it like we love it as Canadians. I just get goosebumps just talking about it.
John Liu, TSN.
A wonderful work. Still ahead on TSN Extra with baseball solely focused on contraction. Dave Hodge checks in to tell us how hockey might be receptive to the